Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 190 of the Backstage Slam. I am Josh, joined by none other than Amber, and it sounds like
Baby Josh.
the baby
Yeah, he's eating cereal.
eating cereal. It's a good time of day to do it. Of course, there's never a bad
Yeah.
time of day for cereal. Cereal companies give me money for promoting your stuff. It's only fair. Well, here we are, episode 190, and Ben has had a pretty bad relapse from his sickness. So he's getting some rest. Ben, feel better. If you want to send him your get well wishes at YoBroMMO, that's where to do it. And you can reach me on Twitter at SkitComic. Hell, if you want to reach me anywhere, it's at SkitComic anywhere. PlayStation, Xbox, all of it. SkitComic, it's a household name. And if you want to join the discussion, go to the Discord, YoBroMMO, and you will be able to join the wrestling discussions that happen there. It hasn't been a very eventful week. I know that for a fact. I was going to talk about Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, plus a little AEW, but you know what? I'm just going to read what Ben told me. And he said that Dynamite and NXT were great, and it was the best crowdless Dynamite episode to date from from his perspective. So I will piggyback on that and say yes, they were great, but I'm guessing you probably haven't had a chance to catch it, so I will not be going deep into that conversation. But the one bit of news that I did want to touch on and get some opinions on is the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Not Cain Velasquez getting removed.
Removed?
He was on the chopping block.
Oh yeah, they got rid of the rookie.
Yeah. The rookie that made lots of money.
That is true. So, you're a big follower of MMA. How about you explain who Cain Velasquez is and why this is
the
kind of a big
ironic
deal.
thing was Cain Velasquez was hurt in his MMA career, plagued with back injury after back injury. I mean, if you're a wrestler and you're lifting up Brock Lesnar and not just fake body slamming him, but body slamming him and then dry humping him, it can take a toll on your body. But then he injured, I believe it was what was originally said was a torn meniscus, non-surgery related. They were just going to try and do plasma injections to see if it would heal. And after 2 years, no active fighting, they dropped him off the active roster. And all of a sudden he showed up at, what was it, AAA? Lucha Underground? Did 2 fights at Lucha Underground, and then all of a sudden got signed at WWE, and WWE is claiming they did not know he was plagued with a knee injury, or that they didn't know to which the extent of his injury, hence the 2-minute match he had with Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, well, Brock only has 2-minute matches anyway, so it didn't seem really out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and because of that picture that he leaked with him and Rhonda at Titans Towers, that wasn't supposed to go out. He made a rookie mistake, pissed off Vince, and Vince said, "Bye-bye."
The only other thing I could say about this is, oh well, Big deal, right? I'm not a follower of mixed martial arts. I'm not a follower of UFC. Cain Velasquez was not on my radar, really, until he came to WWE. And even then, I was like, meh. We already have a couple people like that. Not really interested in seeing another one.
Yeah, he really didn't have, like, he's kind of just a Kurt Angle, you know, wrestler, collegiate wrestler, really famous for wrestling, kind of, Brock Lesnar resume. No, you're not going to see him do a shooting star press and land on his own neck by any means, but...
Yeah, I will say, Brock Lesnar used to land that shooting star press solidly in OVW.
Well, the one I watched him, he landed on his own damn neck.
Yeah.
So,
just
he didn't. Short. I think it was the connection to Rey Mysterio that they tried to push, brown pride, Mexican, lucha libre stuff, because when he was there he wore a mask, and then all of a sudden he came out in WWE, he wasn't wearing it because people wouldn't have recognized him, which is a lie. He has the big old brown pride tattooed across his chest. Everybody would have known it. Cain Velasquez. That follows MMA. But I don't see it a big loss, and I don't see him getting picked up by anybody other than, like, going back to Lucha Underground. Okay, I'm done with that.
Okay, that's a very fair assessment. I think, if anything, Curtis Axel was probably a bigger loss.
Because he was Mr. Perfect's son, or do you have a different reason?
He was a good worker. He may not have been top of the card, but he was game, He came to work. He did what he was told.
But he didn't have kids.
I guess not. I don't know if he has kids or not. Heath Slater's got kids, and he got let go.
But Heath Slater's moniker of "I got kids" kept him around a little bit longer.
Again, another guy willing to do anything that the company asked. Happy with being the joke on the shows.
I wonder if he had come out more as the son of Mr. Perfect, if he would have gotten further.
Maybe. He certainly didn't rely on that family connection to make a name for himself. They mentioned it, of course, a few times, but he was never, Mr. Perfect Jr. He was never trying to take his daddy's gimmick. Unlike a few people we could probably name.
This is true. I just wondered maybe if it would have kept him around a little longer, because it has kept other people around longer.
It has. There are some people that are very heavily relying on their family lineage to stick around. Maybe that could be a topic for another show, because I'd like to get more voices on that one.
Yeah. How do you feel about Rhodes coming out basically and saying, like, Heath Slater is a no-go? Just outright going, yeah, no.
I can't blame him. I'm not sure what kind of value Heath Slater would add to any kind of AEW brand. He's not even in a position of being an unpushed fan favorite like Rusev or even what's his face, the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. He doesn't even have that going for him. He was just a guy that people like to laugh at. He's got kids. That was his thing. He had a good thing going with Rhino. first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I don't see him being above anything than what he was.
Do you agree or disagree that had they not changed the plans at SummerSlam and allowed Slater and Wade Barrett to beat C9 What's His Butt, it could have changed the course of their performances and their directionality?
You're talking about when Nexus was around?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nexus was definitely, in my opinion, way underutilized. They left a lot of potential on the table. That was a group of young, fresh guys that could have been the next NWO to really shake things up. But for some reason or another, John Cena got added to the mix, and it killed the whole thing.
It floored him.
Wade Barrett should have been a top champion during that.
Didn't he hold the belt like once?
I don't know. Maybe John Cena told him to, hold it for him real quick.
I could have swore he held it once, maybe. Or was that the Intercontinental Champion?
He was definitely Intercontinental Champion. That's Wade Barrett. That is another story of wasted potential. Starting with Nexus and going all the way through to Bad News Barrett. He's the guy that took every gimmick they gave him and made it shine. He shined it up really nice. Got the fans behind him no matter how stupid it was. King Barrett included. He was just good at what he did. And subsequently got punished for it. Because, as we know from experience watching the WWE, you can't go out and get yourself over. You can only get over if the company says you get over. And I know there's going to be a lot of WWE defenders. Don't get me wrong. I still watch. It's the number one wrestling company in the world, period. There is nobody even close as far as, I don't know, ratings on a regular basis or just roster. I just wish they'd open up the potential a little bit on that. Anyway, the WWE has a pattern of taking guys that become fan favorites and then disappearing them. Like I said, Rusev comes to mind. Damian Sandow comes to mind. Luke Harper comes to mind.
Wait, which Damian Sandow? The gross idiotic with the beard and the blue shirt, blue robe that was smarter than everyone?
For a while.
I don't know. I thought that one was kind of annoying. That reminded me of Hunter Hearst Helmsley DDS when he was like
the blue blood,
wearing the black and whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Sandow. He had a stint with the Miz, where he was his stuntman.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
And the way the Miz treated him, for the fans, it got to a boiling point where they just wanted to see Miz get his butt kicked. And that's how you know you have an angle that is hot. Because people were willing to pay to see Miz get beat up. Miz did a wonderful job getting Sandow over. He did an amazing job. And instead of that, he goes away. The gimmick just dies. We don't get the big payoff. With Luke Harper, there was that breakaway story where he was going against Bray Wyatt. And that should have naturally led to Bray Wyatt defending the championship against Luke Harper.
Okay, but again, I have to ask, what is the deal with him being the leader of the Dark Order. I'm not following.
What's the deal? He's the leader. He's the guy in charge. He's the boss man.
But I don't know, maybe I just had my thoughts that it was going to be Matt Hardy and it wasn't.
I think somebody asked me. It was I have T-Mobile for my cell carrier, and one of my T-Mobile reps is an indie wrestler. He's done the circuit for a while. He's wrestled some big names. I wore a Johnny Gargano shirt, and he was like, "I love that shirt, man. I wrestle him," and I was like, "Cool. You're my guy now, right? Because you know who's on my shirt." Yeah, I work that way. And he asked me, he's like, "Who do you think the leader of the Dark Order is?" And I said, "I think it's Brody Lee." He's like, "What? That's crazy. It's got to be Matt Hardy, right?" And I was like, at first I thought maybe it was Matt. But the more I thought about it, the more I came to the conclusion that Matt was a really obvious choice. The really obvious choice. It made so much sense that I thought maybe it's too obvious. So when Brody came about, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a cool choice, and it leaves a little bit for a surprise.
Let me mute for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm a fan of Brody Lee. I was a fan of Luke Harper. Once again, because of his program with Bray Wyatt back in the day, I thought, this guy he has the possibility of being a really, really top guy. Can't say the beard is something I'm a fan of, mostly because everybody seems to have a beard these days. Daniel Bryan, I think, made the smart choice in dialing that back a bit, but so many big beards in the WWE, it's a little unreal. So I was a big fan. It was unfortunate that things didn't work out in the WWE for Luke Harper. Injuries tend to be a real pain, but it's a little on the nose there. Injuries have a way of setting you back when you are building up momentum. And unfortunately, Luke Harper succumbed to a couple of injuries at very, very inopportune times. But hopefully, Brody Lee will rise from the, ashes, if you will, and really have a chance to become something with his time left in the ring. I would like to see him be a top guy, if only for a little bit, because he's got the talent. He's got a bit of an it factor. And, I was talking with someone today at my day job. Well, not today, but earlier this week at my day job. And we were talking about how things work in WWE, and he asked me who I thought was the most overrated wrestler of all time. And without hesitation, I said Hulk Hogan. And, we agreed on that point. By the way, if you're listening out there, man, hey, what's up? But that got me to thinking, what does make a top guy? What makes the next big thing? There are a lot of factors you can think about in this question. One, of course, being work rates, right? How good are they in the ring? Are they a technician? Are they a high flyer? How good are they? How many moves do they know, I guess? Hulk Hogan knew a handful of moves, or used a handful of moves in the ring, and was the biggest, possibly, celebrity in the world. Not just wrestler. He was a household name. In fact, some of the more popular wrestlers of all time didn't have a whole arsenal of moves in their moveset. It was, 2 or 3, maybe 4 signature moves, coupled with 1 or 2 really recognizable finishers. Stone Cold comes to mind. The stunner when you see the stunner. The People's Elbow, The Rock. The Rock was really, really good at coming up with signature moves. Something that'll get the crowd excited when they see it. So that's something a lot of the top guys that have been up there have in common. Just not necessarily a massive set of moves they can pull off, but a handful of really recognizable things that can get a crowd to pop. What about personality? Well, Hulk Hogan had that in spades. A lot of people did. Let's see, there was Warrior, not a great promo by any means, not a great wrestler, but the personality of the Ultimate Warrior was bigger than life. And that's why he was up there for a while. Looks like right now we're being joined by Anna.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Anna. Right now I'm talking about what makes a top guy in wrestling. I just said it's partially the moveset, having a good number of moves that you're available, but it's not required to be a top guy. I was about to transition into personality and how important that is. Because
that's super important.
Between the two, it's probably more important because Lance Storm would have been a 20-time world champion if it was just based on what you can do in the ring.
Yeah.
And Chris Benoit, yeah, I know. I said the name. He would have been more time champion than a lot of people. I know that all sounded convoluted coming out of my mouth, but he would have won a lot more championships if it was just about what you could do in the ring. Because, let's face it, Chris Benoit had the personality of a cardboard box.
At least in the ring, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't until he became the straight man for, Kurt Angle or Eddie Guerrero, where they were doing all this crazy stuff, and he was the guy with just rolling his eyes or doing whatnot, that he actually got to show some kind of personality. And then there was the whole Dare to Dream thing where, I believe in Benoit, that kind of thing, the For Real movement, it's what made him kind of lovable. What do you think, Amber?
What do I think about what?
We were talking about personality versus, being a technician in the ring, and how Lance Storm and Chris Benoit would have won dozens of world titles if it was just about what you can do in the ring, how far personality will take you to get to the top.
Being a technician will get you the Intercontinental title or a championship reign. But you have to be able to cut some awesome promos and do some cool feudage in order to get the rest.
So the vast majority of guys that have been at the top and have held the top championship have either excelled in one or the other. There have been a handful of guys. What's that?
I said, look at Santino. He had all kinds of personality, but he wasn't. He was kind of clumsy.
Yeah,
That's
he was
because
also.
he was really Santina.
This is true.
He was an able hand. He definitely knew how to put on a really good match. But he was never. Well, I can't say never. He started out with a gimmick that was. It was just groomed to go straight to the top. A fan in an Italian town steps into the ring for an open challenge and wins the Intercontinental Championship. I think it was the IC title. I don't recall now. He wins the championship as a fan, essentially.
And he held it for a record-breaking time.
Yeah, Santino was awesome. And then somewhere along the lines, Vince McMahon found out he could be funny, and the comedian Santino Marella was born. That probably kept him employed for a very long time. Just his ability to make Vince McMahon laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's why R-Truth is still around.
And it's a shame, too, because R-Truth is one of those guys that also should be considered for a run at the top. And it could easily be done. Someone from his old Impact days would say, Truth, man, Ron, what happened to you? You're not this way. You when you take this seriously, you are better than everybody in the locker room. Why do you act this way? And he can say, I'm just trying to get a paycheck, man. Break that dummy character. Get him serious.
But I love him that way.
Yeah, I don't like.
I think it should be his final,
like at all.
It should be his final run. He should have one really good, serious run in the WWE. He is. I'm trying to find out his age here. He is 48 freaking years old.
Holy crap! Really?
Yeah. 48.
Man, I'm used to looking at these like divas and stuff like that because I'm down that rabbit hole again, and it's like, oh, they're 28, they're 33, and it's like, man, I'm like older than most of the people on the roster.
Yeah. But not this guy.
Apparently not.
But he looks like he's 24, doesn't he?
He does. That's why I'm like,
moves.
He's how old?
He moves like he's 24.
Has he ever had an injury? Like,
oh, I'm sure he has. But
well, one that's required, time off.
It's hard to say because it seems like if he's being utilized, he's being utilized. He's, all over the place. But I want to see him get one serious run before he retires because at 48, I can't imagine it's going to be too long before he hangs it up.
Yeah.
I want to see the serious Ron Killings just for one run. And then if he wants to hang around and keep collecting a paycheck, by all means, be the silly guy. But
let me ask you why Mr. Kennedy didn't make it.
Because the dude sucked.
He had the charisma, though.
He had the personality of a dead horse.
Oh, he was probably, at the time, one of the most charismatic people on the roster.
He was.
I couldn't stand him.
Which was the point.
Sorry.
You see, the thing with Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, is if you believe, the stuff from backstage from the dirt sheets. He angered the wrong people. And that meant his days were going to be numbered.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, he found, a spot in other places. Mr. Anderson became a thing. But I always go back and wonder what would have happened if Ken Kennedy was revealed to be Vince McMahon's bastard child instead of Hornswoggle.
I was going to say, didn't that end up being Hornswoggle?
It did.
He does look like Finley, though.
He does. It would have been different. That's for sure.
Yes.
Now, we talked about people that either have, talent in the ring or charisma and personality, and some people that have both. What do you say about people that have neither and yet somehow manage to make it to the top of the card?
Example?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody who can't wrestle and doesn't... Oh, wait, yes, I can. The other half of the Funkadactyls. Board.
Yeah, that's not exactly the top of the card.
Well...
Naomi?
No, the other one.
I'm like, Naomi's got the dance moves and the glow.
Naomi is amazing. But the other girl, I'm kind of on a love-hate relationship with her right now. Like, she's on Total Divas, I'm like reaching the end of the Funkadactyls tag team thing, and I'm just like, I want to smack her upside her face.
More specifically, I was thinking about, in fact, two people come to mind. The first being Jinder Mahal.
They did that because they went to India. And he was
I
on
like
steroids.
Jinder, though.
You can
can't
like
deny he
Jinder.
was
It's
on
all good.
steroids. Look how small he was on Monday.
Yeah,
Homeboy was
yeah.
juicing.
Vince McMahon
He just
saw him.
came back,
He's
too.
like, he looks ripped.
Oh, I don't know what he's been up to since he got injured, but he was on that Drew McIntyre special they did before WrestleMania, and holy crap.
But
And
do
the
you
other one
think
was?
he was worthy of WWE Championship?
It's because they went to India and they needed a first Indian champion, and the modern day Maharaja was just crap.
But he wasn't the first.
But he would have lost that title if it wasn't for the Singh brothers every time.
Yeah, and I think that was the only saving grace about the gimmick, the fact that they took his lack of everything and made him kind of own it. They gave him an out. And ironically, the other person I'm thinking of was associated with this for a night or two, and that is the Great Khali.
I love the Great Khali.
He had the chop.
He was a guy that, sure, maybe he's a sweetheart. I don't know. I've never met him. But, I mean, let's face it, when it comes to charisma, at first, he didn't have it. And then somehow, this whole kiss cam thing got over.
Punjabi cells that got him over, man. What was it? The Punjabi prison matches? With the wood sticks and shit?
Yeah.
Oh. The kendo sticks.
It was not a great time. Because what they failed to realize is with a cage surrounded by bamboo, How the hell is anybody supposed to see inside the ring?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you need when you're doing a show, the ability to see it.
Usually, yes.
But he didn't have a move set. He didn't have promo skills whatsoever. So why?
Well, then let's play devil's advocate here and say Brock Lesnar has neither.
See, I would disagree with you there.
Paul Heyman is his mouthpiece, and the only thing he's got is Suplex City, bitch.
See, that's the thing. Brock Lesnar can go.
He proved that at the Royal Rumble, but before that, he was doing 2-3-minute matches.
Yes, but before that, during his first run, he was killing it. WrestleMania aside, where he landed on his freaking neck, he was pulling off shooting star presses in OVW. He could go, he could move, and he was going toe to toe with the likes of Kurt Angle as far as holds and reversals and things like that.
And I'll tell you from the MMA side, he scared a lot of people because a 250 plus pound man shouldn't be able to move that quickly.
Exactly. And there's something else he can do, and that's cut a killer promo.
No, Paul Heyman can do that.
Oh, look, if the choice is between a good Brock Lesnar promo and a fire Paul Heyman promo, yeah, you go with Paul. But one of the reasons Brock is able to pull off a good promo, other than the coaching from Paul, of course, is because he is one of the few guys that he's his character. I think Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar all the time. So yeah, it might be a few simple words. He's not going to be the guy that, cuts that 20-minute rant at the opening of Raw. That's what he has Paul for. But when he speaks, it should be important. And every time he does, it is.
So when he said, "That's what's up,"
that floored me. That was beautiful.
Sorry,
it showed
I had
he
to
had
laugh just because it was R-Truth all the way, man. He made that golden.
I think it was the combination of R-Truth and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar just putting that frosting on the cake with the "That's What's Up" took me back to his feud with Eddie Guerrero, and when he played with the mariachi band, and when he was dancing in the ring on SmackDown. Yeah, he's also got a sense of humor. So yeah, he's a guy that deserved to be where he was. I don't know if he deserved to be there as long as he was there. But that's the way it is sometimes. People.
All right, then why did Yokozuna get the title?
Why did Yokozuna get the title?
Yep.
Because he's a big mofo.
But that's not talent nor charisma. He would just had a big butt.
Right, and sometimes there is that third option when it comes to being champ, and that is the transitional champion, the monster, the mountain that has to be overcome for the babyface to have the triumphant victory. And that was Yoko.
I have to agree, he was a transitional champion.
But since we're talking about champions so much, and because I actually did write it on the description of tonight's show, I would like to talk about the current champions of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and I want you to tell me who has the better champions, who is holding up their brand the strongest. We're going to start with Raw, and we are going to start at the bottom. so we can be here. The Street Profits, the Raw Tag Team Champions, have been champions since March 2nd. They are currently 57 days into their run. They beat Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy on Raw. How do you think they're doing?
They got charisma.
Yeah, and they got sweet moves.
Yeah.
And a gimmick to sell with that red cup.
I don't know a whole lot about the Street Profits.
You don't want to get that smoke?
I don't have my TV yet, so I can't watch. I just read the updates is what happened.
All right, that's fair. Well, they are in their first reign as tag team champions. And now we're going to go to SmackDown and to a team that's in their sixth reign as tag team champions. The New Day. You might not know this, but I am the unofficial fourth member of the New Day. It has been decided. I don't remember what episode it was, but yes, Ben gave me that honorary title. They
acceptable.
are 11 days into their current reign since they won the titles on April 17th. Big E defeated The Miz and Jey Uso in a triple threat match on SmackDown to start their sixth reign. I know sometime back, while New Day was breaking the record for longest championship reign, that there was talk about that they would also be the ones that held the titles the most times. And this is the sixth. So, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day. I'll just skip ahead to...
There needs to be some new blood in that division.
On SmackDown?
Yes.
I think that's fair. How about you, Anna? Cool. The NXT...
Well, I mean, I don't really... The only one I could think of bringing up from NXT is the Undisputed Era, and I don't like any of them. So, I mean, if they want to come to the main roster and, get wiped all over the ring, that would be great. I would thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay. You want the New Day to wipe their butts with the Undisputed Era, I guess.
Yes, basically.
Okay. That's definitely a valid opinion. NXT, they have the Broserweights. They have 72 days.
They still have it?
That's what's listed here. But of course, Pete Dunne can't get into the country because of flight restrictions. I think that's still in effect.
I think so, yeah. I didn't know he'd gone home.
Well, yeah, that's where he lives. So, of course, that's where he's going to go. Gallus, the team of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, are the tag team champions in NXT UK. So, they are 207 days into their reign, the longest reigning ones on the tag team rosters. So who do you think is repping their brand better? Gallus, the Broserweights, New Day, or Street Profits? Just from what you've seen.
Street Profits.
Okay, quick answer. Street Profits from Amber. Anna?
I think it's a toss-up between the New Day and the Broserweights. Because, I mean, you were talking charisma and ring. That's the word I want, Josh.
All right.
In-ring persona, not their talent, their other stuff. Because, I mean, the Broserweight dude is super freaking talented. But
which one?
The one who wrestles barefoot.
Matt Riddle?
Yeah, that guy.
He's got himself into too much hot water.
Yeah.
How do you get
Nobody
himself in the
really
hot
likes
water?
him. He's a butthead.
He challenges
Well,
Brock
yeah, I could
Lesnar
tell
and
he was a
Goldberg.
butthead, but
He's also an MMA fighter.
that I knew.
And he challenges Goldberg and Brock Lesnar on the regular.
I mean,
He's a
go big
butthead.
or go home, I guess.
No, he's gotten to the point where they were told him, like, do not ever speak to the man ever again or you'll lose your
Brock
job.
Lesnar straight up told him, this ain't happening. Stop. So, yeah, Matt Riddle.
He got told from the backstage people that, like, if he didn't stop, it would cost him his job. He's that annoying with it.
Did not know that. But,
yeah.
I mean, as far as, in-ring gimmick, like the whole Dusty Cup thing there before the last takeover, like, I thought that was great.
Yeah. And Pete Dunne was my favorite from the UK tournament. He was
the fact that he
standout.
never cracks a smile is amazing. I don't know how he does it.
Especially with Matt Riddler.
Right?
It's pretty easy. Josh and I did it for many years.
Like I've been laughing so hard at Matt Riddle, I like tears rolling down my face, and dude's just like stone faced. I'm like, how? Like, I'm not even sure if he really cracked a smile when they won the title.
No, probably not. All right.
I mean, as far as New Day, they always represent. So, I mean, that goes without question.
And this message is to Ben, no, New Day are not breaking up. Ever. Ever. As long as we're clear on that.
Okay, Josh.
Let's talk about the women. All right, don't get too excited. First up, Becky Lynch, Raw Women's Champion. 386 days into her title reign, defeated Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 35. Been champion for over a year.
It's time for her to go.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
On the SmackDown side, we have Bayley, who's in her second reign, SmackDown Women's Champion. And there's a familiar name. She defeated Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. 200 days in. Let's see. Oh, and what do you know? There's that name again. The NXT Women's Champion, her second reign, is on her 34th day as NXT Women's Champion. And when she defeated Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36.
Banks will take out Bayley.
And the UK Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray, 241 days into her reign, and when she defeated Toni Storm. So, by far, Becky Lynch has held the title for the longest out of all the women, and immediately after you said that it's time for her to pass it along, who do you think she would pass it along to?
I don't think it should go to Baszler. I think she's too much of a newbie.
Well, she's got some, a few years under her belt now.
She would be a transitional champion.
Yeah, I think anybody that takes it now probably should be not necessarily a long-term, maybe not necessarily a short-term, but I don't know, 386 days is a long time.
That's what I said. It's time for her to go.
But if nobody is ready to step up and take that spot, and I mean that from a Just from a business standpoint, who are you going to find that's more popular on the babyface side? And who are you going to find that's that hated on the heel side?
Are we talking about Becky?
Yeah.
Well, people are upset with Nia right now. Just give it to her and let her be the transitional champion for a minute.
That would definitely irritate some people, and I have a feeling that would definitely be a topic to talk about on this show.
See, because I haven't seen the match with Kyrie, I don't know if there was intent to injure or if it was just an accident. And I haven't really seen Nia mentioned since then. I love Nia, but that's just because I've been watching a crap ton of behind-the-scenes stuff.
It looked like an accident to me.
Well, accident or not,
but it
when
doesn't
things
mean
happen
she's not
on a
gonna
regular
take the
basis,
flak
it
for
seems.
it. You know, she talked mad trash on Ronda for hurting Alexa Bliss, and then she goes out there and accidentally knocks Kairi Sane into next week.
Kairi Sane, who already had an issue with concussions.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's got the heat on her, accident or not.
Because there is a history of accidents.
See, I don't know. I mean, I get that it's hard to find someone to pair Nia with that can match her. But maybe they shouldn't put the 100-pound teeny tiny women with the much larger Samoan chick.
To match her what?
I mean, I'm not fat shaming in any way, but Nia's there's no way I can say this nicely.
She's a big girl.
She's a big girl.
Thank you. She's a big girl. You take Nia and put her up against 100 pounds. Those bumps are gonna hurt.
I'll take you back. Take you back to an Alexa Nia matchup. The thing that really irked me was somehow that when this feud was going on, Alexa Bliss was the heel bully, and Nia was the babyface victim. That did not make me cheer for Nia. That confused me. I said the whole time, why don't you just flick her? Take Alexa, pick it, flick it.
That was actually, they talked about that. I can't remember if it was Table for Three or if it was one of the ride-along episodes. That storyline they did on purpose. Because they're such good friends, Nia knew what Lexi was saying wasn't true. But it brought to light, because Lexi has an eating disorder, Nia's had weight issues. It brought those things to light, and they could do it knowing that the other didn't mean it.
But it was still really stupid.
But I mean,
it was just like Piggy James, and I hated it.
Who?
Piggy James.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, Amber, you want to take this one? Okay.
Mickey James was bullied, extensively bullied for her weight.
By management.
They nicknamed her, yes. And they nicknamed her Piggy James. And that's what she was called for the remainder of her time before she went to Impact.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of stuck at Impact as well. So it became an extremely sore spot for me when Alexa Bliss and Mickey James were quote-unquote best friends, going after and fat-shaming Nia James, and that she wasn't pretty and she was too fat, especially after the Piggy James.
And let's get something clear. I know I'm going to have at least one person back me up on this. Mickey James was never, ever in a position to be called Piggy, in my opinion. Was she as thin as some of the other divas at the time? No. But was she like disproportionate?
She was healthy.
I mean, if I had to put it in a kind of, I don't know, male gaze kind of way, everything that was extra in the right places. And to me, she was always the best looking of the divas of that time. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there. I said it.
Still the best looking?
She's right up there.
Yeah.
So I've always despised.
I've
Mickey
always
James.
kind of crushed on Mickey James, but I'm like hardcore loving Mandy and Lexi right now.
I just don't like the fat shaming storyline that seems to happen frequently with WWE.
It was on the 365-day thing that they did for Alexa. I think they might have talked about that storyline.
It was just insane. Nia, all she had to do was bonk Alexa on the head and it would have been over.
Bend her over her knee and just snap her like.
But, I mean, if you're gonna do a storyline like that, like I can understand wanting it to be a good friend.
Or how about just don't do a story like that?
Thank you, Josh.
True, but I mean, you've got two people that have dealt with the issue, trying to bring awareness to it that, you know what, you're not alone.
Here's the thing. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Okay,
Nia had just come off a run being a monster. She was crushing everybody, no pun intended. She was destroying her competition. And then suddenly she gets called fat, and that breaks her. No, she should have been the one making fun of Alexa about her weight issues and saying really mean things. And it would have been more believable. It would have been a bully situation that you could buy into. But, with that being said, the best thing to do in that situation when you're talking about body shaming, and especially with women, if you don't have a reputation for being able to tell these stories in a tasteful and practical way, then you should avoid it. And Vince McMahon does not have that reputation of being able to do things like this tastefully.
This is true. I'm not saying it was a tasteful storyline, but I can see why they did it. Because, I mean, they didn't really go into details about, Nia's issues, but Lexi's almost killed her.
I think Nia's issue is, isn't she Samoan?
Yes. I think her and Tamina are somehow related. They're all related.
Yeah, everybody's related to The Rock these days.
She's big boned.
But, I mean, like, I can understand Tamina getting picked on because she was never the petite, pretty girl. And quite honestly, Nia's gorgeous. Maybe not done up as scary Nia in the ring, but seeing her in other stuff, it's like, holy crap, she's gorgeous. I don't understand.
I think anytime Nia steps into that ring, she needs to be scary Nia.
Yeah. And that's just it. But when her makeup's done in, like, not scary Nia, she's gorgeous. I mean, she's pretty when she's scary Nia, too, but she's... But, like, I get it from both points of view. And I get what you're saying. Why wasn't the bigger girl picking on the little girl? I was the 85 pounds in ninth grade getting picked on and being called fat by the chick who was 3 times my size. So honestly, like, the story could go both ways.
But I think it's more believable if it goes big person attacking little person. And if little person wants to start a problem with big person shouldn't run away crying. Big person should be pissed off. Like, up until that point, she has totally been pissed off and able to, pick Alexa Bliss out of her teeth.
This is true.
But with that tangent aside, between Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, and Kaylee Ray, who is holding up the women's division the best in WWE?
Charlotte's NXT title, right? Still? I would say Charlotte.
How about you, Amber? Who do you think is holding up the women's division?
I'm sorry, I'm busy getting beat up by baby Josh.
Okay. That's absolutely cool.
Acceptable.
Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't know. Well, right now, Becky's the man. I think she is the face of the women's division. Even if it might be time for the title to move on, as of this moment, she is the one that puts the butts in the seats when they're allowed to be in seats.
Meh. She's had it too long. Bailey's had it too long, and I'm not sure who the other chick is, so...
No, you probably don't catch NXT UK, do you?
No.
Okay.
I know the name because there was a takeover that had both NXT and NXT UK that I saw, but that's literally
Worlds
all I know.
Collide.
That's the one.
Okay, next we're going to talk about the number 2 men's titles. Andrade is the United States champion 124 days into his reign, defeated Rey Mysterio at a house show to win the title. Sami
He should have
Zayn,
been stripped when he got popped.
Sami Zayn is the Intercontinental champion 51 days into his reign, defeated Braun Strowman in a 3-on-1 handicap match.
What? Oh,
it's
hell
not.
no! Hell no!
Okay, we'll stop here. And Anna, how do you
You're
feel?
telling me that Weasley little bitch boy took that belt off of Braun?
Yeah,
He had help from Cesaro.
Shinsuke and Cesaro.
Oh, okay, so the Weasley little bitch boy that can't fight his own fight without his little bodyguards took that belt off of Braun?
Yep.
No, I refuse to accept that. That's bullshit.
Oh, I'm glad I added that
But now
explicit
he's
tag.
got a better title.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
I don't even want to
get to
think
that in a
about the
second.
Money in the Bank match because I know he ain't going to keep that. But I didn't know he had that belt for Sami Zayn to take it off him.
Yeah.
God, I fucking... Sorry. I don't like Sami Zayn at all.
I love ska. I love
Aren't
Sammy.
you so glad I came on, Josh?
Oh, yeah, Josh agrees. With me.
I did not know that's how he got that belt. That's bullshit.
Okay. and the NXT North American champion is the also one of the co-stars in Netflix original movie WWE's Main Event, Keith Lee.
I love that man.
He is 97 days into his reign, and as he defeated Roderick Strong of the...
Good.
Yeah, thought you might like that. So, which one of these guys is holding up their brand the best? Is it Keith Lee?
Lee, of
Is it
course.
Sami Zayn? Or is it Andrade?
Keith Lee, of course. Talk about oozing charisma and mic skills and holy crap in-ring skills.
Yeah, Keith Lee, he's a big guy, but he moves like a freaking angel, and he's got charisma to boot.
Yeah.
But I'm total mark for Zammy, because he honors one of my favorite indie wrestlers of all time, El Generico, every time he steps into that ring. So what can I say? Sammy has my heart, man. And I know Andrade, he's good. He's good.
He seems super new to be holding a belt, though.
Super
or maybe
new?
Maybe he's been around longer than I know of, but he's newer to me.
Andrade Cien Almas. And he has been in WWE since 2015, so he's on his 5th year. So yeah, he's been around for a minute, long enough to, get engaged to Charlotte.
Wait, what?
Were you not aware that they were?
They're going to have babies.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're a real life thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that goes along with me not knowing that Natty and Tyson Kidd have, been an item since they were like kids.
They'd be married.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched their wedding. It was pretty.
All right, little bits. Little Josh, you go in here and play because I'm getting sick of being punched in the eye. He is not ready to go to sleep.
Andrade's engaged to Charlotte. Holy shit.
Yep.
It was a very short courtship. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to last.
Are you saying Flares are known for...
at WrestleMania last year.
Saying Flares are known for quick
short
marriages and quicker divorces?
Josh!
It's a Flair thing.
But,
she has a prenup.
The issue I always had with Charlotte was I thought she was trying to ride her father's coattails, but watching these behind the scenes things, it's actually the complete opposite.
And that's why she's coming out to a techno version of his music and wearing his robes, so she doesn't have to be like him.
I think it bothered her a lot in the beginning that everybody just saw her as Ric Flair's daughter. It was another one of those interview things on the network. I'll have to ask Scott which one it was. It might have been a 365. But it bothered her a lot because it made it hard for her to make her own way. But then eventually she's embraced the fact that she's a Flair. But she still wants to make her own way while being a Flair, and I can see the difficulty in doing that.
Yeah, but can you make your own way with the name Flair and no experience outside of the biggest company in the world?
That I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, to bring up that name again, Chris Benoit's son. He's going to have a really hard time not being seen as Chris Benoit's son.
Very true.
And, I mean, dude, you want to wrestle under Chris Benoit? Go for it, but it's going to be hard.
You certainly won't reach certain levels,
regardless
of what your talent is. Not using that name.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Flair, on
just
the other
having the
hand,
Benoit name and period is going to make it hard for him to get anywhere, unfortunately.
remember, Rick did not become famous wrestling for WWE, WWF, or even WCW. Ric Flair was the guy that went everywhere and always wound up on top. NWA especially.
Right.
So if I don't know, there's just something about you're in the biggest company in the world and you have the legacy name of someone that is considered the greatest of all time by many people. There is no way to escape that shadow.
Yes, there is. They do what they did with Eddie Guerrero's daughter and give her a different name.
Yeah, that would do it. The thing is, Charlotte knew she was.
Nobody knew that she was Eddie's daughter.
Who's Eddie's daughter?
That's my point. She wrestled in the WWE, and nobody knew that she was Eddie's daughter.
See, I didn't even know this. This is one of those things Ben would be on top of.
I think they changed her name to... Crap, now we have to look it up. It was something Cruz, but nobody had any idea that she was Eddie Guerrero's daughter. None. So for
The Rock's daughter is going to have a problem with it too.
Raquel Diaz.
There you go.
I don't know that.
She was, let's see, NXT 2012 to 2014.
I mean, could it have helped her if they let it be known that she was Eddie Guerrero's daughter? 100%. But she wanted to do it on her own merit. And, nobody knew she was Eddie's daughter.
And Charlotte had that opportunity to come into the company and not be a Flair.
Mm-hmm.
But
all she did was change her first
rolled
name.
with it.
But she knows what that name brings.
So yeah, I guess we did answer that question. Is Charlotte trying to get out from under that shadow? It doesn't. Compare it to Raquel Diaz, it doesn't sound like she even tried.
I mean, there are a few people that, that don't even have the star power as a Flair. Like, everybody knew that Natty was Neidhart's daughter.
Yeah, Natty Neidhart.
She even had. I mean, she had to bust
everybody
her ass.
knew her ties to the British Bulldog, to Bret Hart, to all of them.
Well, they were the New Hart Foundation.
Yeah, so it didn't happen. But there are ways that you can do it. The question is it going to hurt you or is it going to help you?
And it's, I mean, as far as The Rock's daughter, it's already out there that she's training or in developmental or something like that.
She wants to be a wrestler.
She's at the Performance Center. So, but if she would have started at a smaller place instead of going straight to WWE, even Performance Center or NXT, go to a smaller venue, find your character, find your name, and don't let it be known.
See, I think even Natty started in the Indies before she went WWE.
Yeah. There are just some people's names who has too much star power that you know damn well they're going to end up in the WWE. You knew damn well that DiBiase was going to end up there. You knew damn well that Rhodes was going to end up there. Orton was going to end up there. They didn't have to take the hard road, less traveled, but it can be done. They did it with Eddie's daughter.
Yeah, there are many roads into the WWE, and being a legacy is one of them. And
And
depending on if you're willing
sometimes,
to use your family name, it could have a very big impact on, where you end up.
But sometimes it hurts you. Look at Natty's position. She's held the Divas champion, what, twice? It didn't
something
help
like
her.
that, yeah.
It
Well,
didn't
she was
help her.
gonna have it in, I think it was the tail end of season 1 of Total Divas, but she had to have that surgery on her nose, so she was out for like 6 months.
But it never helped her. She's always been the workhorse to put over the new people because she knows how
Yeah.
to make people look good. So having the name didn't really help her. For a while, it helped Orton, but how long has it been since Orton has held a title?
Well, Orton hasn't held the title because he doesn't need to hold it.
Right, because he's like, fuck this shit, I don't need it.
He's a 15-time champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Natalie held the title. She held the Divas Championship once and the SmackDown Women's Championship once. Here's what her name got her, though, as far as the WWE. She is seen as a locker room leader. She is the go-to person for the younger talent to really hone their craft. And that's why she gets, stuck with a job of putting people over, because
Babysitter.
she's good. She's damn good at what she does.
And, I mean, they show a lot of her basically being the mama bear on Total Divas. Like, Rosa Mendez came back, and the head of talent relations is like, can you help her out? Can you keep an eye on her? Basically, for lack of a better term, be a mama bear. And she's like, why? He's like, because you're the best.
So I don't really see it as a negative thing, because she's done something not very many women can claim, and that is keep a job in the WWE past a certain age.
Yeah. And, like, this is back in, like, 2014, 2015. I'm right around the time where Daniel Bryan had to have his neck surgery. So whenever that was.
I totally thought you said sex surgery. I was like,
No,
wait,
neck
what?
surgery. Jesus, no. But, no, I got to, I think we stopped on season 3, episode 3 tonight. But, yeah, it shows her basically being the mama bear to everybody but Summer Rae, because, oh, that's nasty. Speaking of someone who has absolutely no charisma or personality at all.
Well, I think, gosh, we've been going for 78 minutes so far. Let's briefly talk about the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And by briefly, I mean the champion listed is Jordan Devlin, 94 days into his reign. He's stuck at home, can't defend it. Anybody have any opinions?
Is that why they're doing the tournament thing?
What's that?
Is that why they're doing the tournament thing?
Yeah, he can't, cross the pond to defend it. But technically, I guess he's still the champion unless they stripped him of it, and I don't recall.
I don't think they were going to strip him of it. It was just going to be like a temporary placeholder kind of thing with this. I think they're thinking that, yes. But whether he'll have to fight to get it back or not, they have not said.
Little Finn Balor is quite an amazing athlete.
I love Finn Balor.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin's like a miniature version of him, which says a lot since Finn Balor is not really a big guy to begin with.
No. How do you get smaller than Finn Balor?
It's a shame that Finn has, I don't know, he's on NXT now, so he's probably
I didn't know that. Like, I was confused when I started watching NXT, and I'm like, Finn Balor's on NXT. Why did he go back to NXT?
Because of his marriage. He wanted a lighter schedule.
Oh, makes sense.
And it's nice to be able to, stay at home in Orlando, record the shows every week. If you're needed on Raw or SmackDown, you just, head out for a day.
Yeah.
Maybe you do the local circuit in Florida. Come up here to Jacksonville, just about once a month.
You're a bastard.
The women's tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. We briefly talked about Alexa in relation to Nia, but now we can talk about Alexa in relation to Nikki, as well as the women's tag team division as a whole, which honestly, as of late,
Who do we
hasn't
have
really
to
existed.
challenge them?
We're the Iconics. I miss them. I miss them so much.
They might be stuck at home too.
Yeah, I imagine that traveling to the States would be an issue from where they're from.
I mean, unless they've moved here.
I know they were doing a lot of humanitarian work in, was it Australia when the fires broke out earlier this year?
Yeah.
I know one of them was out for injury, so they both kind of went away. And quite frankly, I will be happy when those two annoying ladies wind up on my TV again going, Iconic!
Well, what if they reconnect the Riot Squad without Sarah Logan?
That would upset me greatly.
Why?
I want Sarah Logan back.
Sarah Logan? If come on, is it that hard to realize for WWE? If you're listening, is it that hard to realize? Even if you don't like her being paired with the other women of the Riot Squad, she has a perfect natural fit with. God, what are they called now? The War Raiders?
The Viking Raiders?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her husband.
Yeah, I loved War Machine, and then all these name changes, it was like really stupid. It's like, just call him War Machine. And now the Viking Experience, remember that? That was so dumb. And then I guess the Viking Raiders finally stuck. God, the Viking Experience.
And her and the
ridiculous.
Viking dude just had a huge Viking wedding in like Norway or some shit.
Yeah, just add her to the Viking Raiders. You have a faction, and she gets to tour with her hubby.
Yeah. And, oh my god, she's hilarious.
All they need is like a really big guy to be their singles wrestler, and boom, insta-faction of weird Viking
What's wrong
people.
with them? Screw this stupid friggin' feud between him and Bray Wyatt, which is just stupid. Pair him up with the Viking Raiders.
And he's like, I will vow to fight for Valhalla. I assume that's is that Norse?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that they have he has the beard. He'll fit right in.
Exactly.
But yeah, there doesn't really. At one point, women's duos were kind of they were there. There were quite a few teams that could be considered tag teams. Sasha and Bayley, for instance, they were a good duo. They should
totally put Io Shirai back with Asuka and take the belts back. Green missed the shit out of them.
This weird Kabuki Warriors thing.
Yeah.
So you're right. Who else is there? I thought, honestly, if I had my way back before the women's tag team championship was the thing, it would have been Nia and Tamina taking on the men's tag team, beating them, and saying this is for the women.
Love it.
That would have been amazing.
And I think it would have been believable.
Yeah.
You are being a naughty Josh.
Sometimes.
I'm talking to little Josh.
Oh.
It's over an hour past his
Well, that's
bedtime, and
like,
he doesn't
what was
want to
it,
go night.
Naya that entered the men's rumble 2 years ago? She beat the crap out of R-Truth and joined the men's rumble?
Yep.
Like, I would have loved to have seen her win the men's rumble.
Well, let's not get carried away.
But, I mean, think about it. We haven't had a woman heavyweight since China. I mean, Beth, I think, was in the men's rumble once.
Awesome Kong was in the Rumble.
But, I mean, you don't have that many women that are believable to be able to be in the men's rumble to go after the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got, I think Natty could hold her own against some of them. But if you were to put Natty against, like, Brock Lesnar, ain't gonna happen. You put Tamina or Nia against Brock Lesnar, and you got a good chance of knocking his ass out of the ring.
As talented as I keep touting the WWE roster to be, as far as the women goes, I don't think they have a Tessa Blanchard to take over a men's division like she has taken over their top division.
True.
That's because they'd never be given a chance to.
I think
Vince
Becky is
does
the
not
closest.
believe in it.
Becky's the one that, pardon the expression, is the only one that seems to have the balls to even try.
It's because her tits are real.
Okay. On that note, let's talk about Rob Gronkowski, the 24/7 champion and new member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's going to get pinned on the first game.
I hope so.
By R-Truth.
That would be
That
such
would
a coup.
be freaking hilarious.
Touchdown Buccaneers, and the officials are holding up one. Wait, one official is taking off his shirt. Oh my God! It's R-Truth. The senior referee is making his way to the end zone. R-Truth has just tackled Rob Gronkowski. 1, 2, 3, new champion.
Telling you, it's going to happen.
I want to see that, and I will watch every Tampa Bay Buccaneer game until that happens.
And Brady's going to stomp up and down and throw in a fit. No.
I don't understand why they let him get that belt.
Because he signed with the company and he was going to be a part of it. And then COVID-19
And then he decided
hit.
to go back to football.
Well, yeah, because, he wants to be with Brady.
They're butt buddies.
I don't like football.
Okay, then we'll move on from Rob Gronkowski, and I guess they're going to figure out how to get the title off him with social distancing in place, although that's set to expire pretty soon. Let's go to the top guys on each brand. NXT UK champion is Walter. There's a big, scary man. He has held the title for 389 days. He defeated Pete Dunne at TakeOver New York. So he's got over a year under his belt. Sorry, Anna, but the NXT champion is Adam Cole, baby.
God.
332 days as champion. He'll be coming up on his big 1-year anniversary as champion this summer. And that's going
There
to be
is
fun.
not a single member of the Undisputed Era that I like.
They are really good at what they do.
They are really good at what they do, and I hate every single one of them. I'm sure they're probably great guys, and give me some backstage shit to watch on them, and I'll probably change my opinion. But from what I see on NXT, I can't stand them.
Here's the thing. The really good ones don't give you backstage stuff to watch on them. Especially if they're the bad guys. Because they don't want you changing your opinion on them. They want you to maintain that thought that they are jerks 24/7.
Yeah, but I really, really don't like Adam Cole.
And that's why there are guys out there, Chris Jericho being one of them. If he's a heel, he's like, why are you selling my merchandise? I'm a bad guy. Don't do that. So yeah, there are guys that take it to the next level. They take away the opportunity for the fans to cheer him. And as we saw with the run with Kevin Owens, Jericho knew exactly how to lead a crowd on to make it so, oh, these guys are awesome. And then just twist it. Like, oh, wait, right. He's a terrible person. SmackDown, in his 34th day, Braun Strowman, Universal Champion. And finally, I'm going to say to calm down in advance, the WWE Champion, also in his 34th day. No. That's right, Josh. Drew McIntyre, as he defeated Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. Who is repping their brand the best? Who is the strongest champion in the WWE?
I think both Braun and Drew.
Both Braun and Drew, they won the titles on the same night. Well, not the same night, but the same weekend. And, I guess that's fair. Braun was way overdue for a championship. Drew McIntyre, probably several years overdue. But, Wrestling Society as a whole, I guess, decided he's got dues to pay. And then he went out and paid them in full.
Reigns being out, Strowman will be a transitional champion to get Wyatt back his belt at Money in the Bank.
That'll piss me off.
Braun should have never been in an opportunity to win the championship. Because, in my humble opinion, Goldberg never should have had the championship. It never should have been taken off Bray.
CC, you are correct.
This is true. At least not the way it was.
But the way the WWE sees it, Roman Reigns is the one that can defeat Bray Wyatt in his funhouse. So, Strowman will lose at Money in the Bank.
I want to see a well-produced Firefly Funhouse match. Bray Wyatt,
so
Roman
Bray
Reigns.
Gets it back, so they can hold to their original plan.
I think they should show footage from Hobbs and Shaw. Roman Reigns' part. It's like, this is what you've done, Roman, and just 3 seconds of footage from that movie. And then Bray instantly runs out of material. It's like, oh, I had nothing else because you ain't done nothing. Personally, I think Walter he's the top champion in the company. Not just because he's the longest reigning guy, but because on a physical intimidation level, he has it in spades. He's the guy that will go toe-to-toe with Drew. He's the guy that'll go toe-to-toe with Braun and not flinch.
Do you know how absolutely pissed off I'm going to be if Seth fucking Rollins takes Drew's belt?
I don't want to get into that discussion because next week, right here on the Backstage Slam episode number 191, we're going to make our Money in the Bank predictions. I think one of the things to remember is we did find out that the men's and women's match will be going on at the same time.
I just read that tonight when I was reading the SmackDown results. Or no, I was reading the lineup for Money in the Bank.
What do you mean going on it?
The matches are going to run concurrently.
So we're going to split cam it?
I don't know. I'm hoping we're getting that produced short film match that we saw twice at WrestleMania. And if so, it'll be pretty easy to just, cut to this, cut to that.
Yeah.
Didn't Ben say last week that the Money in the Bank matches were pre-taped?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what he said.
So, I mean, even if it's something similar to Randy Orton and Edge's match at Mania, they'll be able to cut back and forth.
Yeah, it's possible. They can do anything without a live crowd, including a little something they're not used to called Take Two.
I just want to see the dummy go over the side of the roof. The crash test dummy.
Gotta be at least one.
I'm gonna laugh if the briefcase goes off the roof and they gotta go all the fucking way back down to get it.
No, that's when Shane McMahon's standing in the grass going, I'm the best in the world.
That's when James Ellsworth grabs it and runs away.
That would be great.
He is the first winner of the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
I don't even understand how that happened, but...
Okay. Well, I think we've reached the natural conclusion of the show tonight. We went a little long. We are at 96, 97 minutes. Before we go, I just want to say thanks to everybody for popping in and joining us for our wrestling conversation. If you want to reach out to me and give me your thoughts on my thoughts, you can find me on Twitter at SkitComic. Anna, where can people find you on social media?
Twitter and Instagram and Facebook's all Catwoman13618.
And if you want to join the wrestling discussion, you can always join us on Discord, YoBro MMO, which is also the Twitter handle for our missing cohort, Ben, the big man. Ben, Hawaii is not a paradise when you're stuck sick, which Ben is. We wish him a speedy recovery and just hope the guy feels better, because he's been a close friend personally for a very long time, and I don't like it when he doesn't feel good. It also means we can't play video games together, and I like to play video games. You can also, if you feel generous, if your heart feels it, look for our Patreon, YoBro MMO, and just search it up. If you can spare $1 a month, we will greatly appreciate it. I know the tiers are going to be updated very soon, so if you feel like donating a little bit more, we're going to open that up to you and have some nifty rewards for when that's available. We've been a little sidetracked, and quite frankly, the whole wrestling world's been in a weird state for these last, 8 to 10 weeks or so due to COVID-19. And yeah, it would be nice if things had a little bit of normality back to them as far as the wrestling goes. But while things are the way they are, I'm not sure how the pay-per-view prediction game that we run on Discord is going to be, because if there are pre-recorded matches, it seems unfair if somebody finds that article that gives the spoilers, and it kind of just negates any actual predictions made for a scoring grade. So next week, I think it's just going to be us making the predictions for fun, getting our thoughts into what we think is going to happen at Money in the Bank. I don't expect it to be scored for the pay-per-view prediction game at all. Not until we are guaranteed that every match on the card is live. And I think it's only fair.
I agree. I mean, I can tell you I'm not looking for any spoilers, even though I've heard they're out there. But I'm not looking.
Nor am I, because I still want to watch it like it's live.
Exactly.
Well, with all that being said, I'm Josh. Over there is Amber and Anna. I thank you all for joining us, and I hope you all have a very good week and weekend. I guess the only thing left to say is, too sweet.